real name?
You're only one person I'm going to tell what my real name is. John E. German, but I've been called Doc since I was 9 years old.
What does the E stand for?
Edward.
John Edward German.
Yeah.
Why do they call you Doc?
Well, there's a neighbor named Walter Moore was watching me and two girls one day. We operated on a cat and sewed it up.
At Caney Creek?
At Caney Creek.
What years were you at Caney Creek?
Caney Creek was from 1910. 1917 to 1943.
What years were you there?
I was there. I was born there and left there in 1943.
How old were you when you left?
13. A lot of good memories.
Does that seem like a lifetime ago, or does it seem like yesterday?
I went back in there 13 times, me and Debbie Moore, when we filmed the documentary. We filmed a documentary on it. Have you seen it?
I've seen it. It was very good. She did a good job.
Yeah.
I don't know her.
Well, she's a nice lady. You ought to get acquainted with her.
What's her reason for doing that? I mean, she's so thorough.
Well, there's a little deal going on. See, I was a stock car driver, and she came out my place, her and Ron, wanted some literature on the stock car. And my mind got to working, rolling around like a ball. I had all this literature on the Caney Creek. So instead of pulling that racing equipment, racing material out, I pulled the Caney Creek out, and she got interested in it. So I told her, I said, you do a documentary on the Caney Creek, and then we'll do one on racing. It won't cost you a penny except what you spend. So I got my Caney Creek documentary made.
Well, stock car, what kind of car? What is, I'm not much into cars. What is that?
Well,
like the Speedway?
I drove the 1934 Fords all over the South back years ago, and very successful. And
you go around the track?
Yeah, around the track.
Was it dirt or asphalt?
Dirt, yeah.
What got you into that?
My brother Cooney was racing motorcycles in 1948, and I followed in 1950. And first race I run was Bowling Green, Kentucky. I filled up gas on credit here, and I had to win, so I won 2 or 3 races, and I never ate steak before in life, and I ate steak coming back that night.
Where'd you get the car?
Oh, well, this is a motorcycle.
Oh.
We went to Bowling Green, Kentucky with. And everybody in Burlington wanted to build me stock cars. So Jack Fox Sr. built the first car. And my brother now also had a new car. He ran at Boyd Speedway.
Boyd Speedway, that's where they just go straight? That's where they just go straight, right?
No, that's a drag strip you're talking
Yeah, that's
about.
where I've been.
Yeah, anybody can do dragging.
Yeah.
Everybody can't do racing. So my brother won 13 straight races at $500 back, which was a lot of money back in 1952. He won that 48.
Were you a mechanic, or was you just a driver, fast
driver?
driver?
No, I was a driver.
Did you wear a helmet?
You had to wear a helmet.
Did you have to wear a fire suit?
No, I had one, but I was the only one who used to have a fire suit. Me and my crew did. And then Jack Fox had a heart attack and died. Then his son got out of the Navy, and he come out with a pile of money. We built the best car in the South. And guess what happened?
What?
I won 163 races.
163 races?
But I had a wife that wanted a house.
How old were you when you finished racing?
Well, it was back in 1972. I must have been in the early 40s. But my wife wanted a house, and I put the metal to the pedal. And wasn't enough in 2 years paid for her house. And that little girl over there sold it last 7 months ago for a big price of money.
So stock car racing, if you win 163 of anything, that's pretty.
if you're as broke as I was, you could have too. And my wife owned a house and she got it.
Where'd you build her a house at?
Oh, on Kyle Lake Road. That was 1955.
Is that where you live till now?
Oh, yeah, I lived till I went up to Garden Plaza. And she inherited the house. She sold it 6 or 7 months ago.
Good time to sell, wasn't it?
Yeah, real good time. She says it is.
163 races.
Well, look how many I lost. I lost 600 races.
But that's still, how many did you come in second?
Well, I one lost. I didn't count second or third. That didn't carry the checkered flag.
Well, how did you make a living doing that?
Well, I had a trucking business too. Then I sold it. And
What kind of trucking? What kind of trucking?
Dump trucking. But I made a mistake. I sold it and went in the car business. And when I left the car business, I walked on. So that wasn't too good of a deal.
Yeah. Now say that again.
I walked on after 14 years. But I had a good time. But I never had nothing. My wife had 00. We bought several things we liked, you know.
Where'd you meet her at?
In Ringo, Georgia, at Square Dance. Kept her 53 years. Wonderful lady.
She was from Ringo?
Ringo, yeah.
That's not far.
No. But she didn't know about me, though.
You had to go out of town to get a wife.
Yeah, that's right.
What? So from the time you was, did you go to Bradley High?
Who?
Did you go to Bradley High School or? Oh,
No, what's that? Baker House.
Bradley High School.
Oh, no, I didn't go but 2 years. My daddy put us boys to work.
Doing what?
A regular job. He never had been in school. He was a disabled World War I veteran. He believed us boys to work. If you couldn't get a job, he'd get you a job.
What was disabled about him?
But he worked TVA 48 years.
Now that's how he got to Caney Creek, right?
Yeah, that's how, well, Old Tennessee Power Company to start with.
How old was he when he went to work there?
Well, I'd say he's I'd say 18 or 19.
What was his job?
A switchboard operator. He had a pretty good job. He made $26 a month. Paid him in cash on a yellow envelope. But when Caney Creek,
how did he get a job there? How did he get a job there? Do you know?
Yeah, he went to work on the flume line.
And
that's when they were building the flume line. They'd hire everybody to come by, you know.
Yeah, that's before the Depression, right?
Oh, yeah, before the Depression, yeah. We lived in Caney Creek during the Depression, but let me tell you about Caney Creek. We had good houses, fireplaces in every house, had concrete sidewalk out in front, had a railroad track in front to haul supplies from the wharf up to number 2 firehouse, and had indoor plumbing, had a fireplace in all of them. So we had a pretty nice house back in our growing up days.
For indoor plumbing at that era was pretty significant, wasn't it?
Sure it was. We first house we moved into in Bradley County didn't have no plumbing.
Who built the Caney Creek houses? Was it
Tennessee Power Company?
They just built it so the people could live there while they worked?
That worked at the power, on the plume line, powerhouse.
Did your mother like living there?
My mother was a cook at the hotel. We had a hotel there. She was a cook at the hotel.
Well, who would stay at the hotel? People coming to work?
We always had visitors on the weekend. We had a tennis court there.
What were the visitors doing there?
Well, they'd come in and play tennis on Saturday and Sundays and stay at the hotel. So the whole hotel's still there, by the way. It's just got pine trees growing up to it. Have you ever been in the Caney Creek?
I've been up by there, but every time I get there, it's too many people at the entrance. We got some pictures, Gwen. I'm going to show you some pictures, and you tell us about it.
Okay. Now, I walked in there 13 times when Debbie done the filming, but I couldn't walk in there anymore. I'm too old, but I'd have to ride a four-wheeler, but old foundations, you know, are still there.
Is that right there is a picture of the houses?
Yeah, that's it. We lived
You
in
can sit right here too.
We lived in the third house down.
Has the long front porch?
Yeah, on the front porch.
So there were 14 houses on that road?
Yeah, 14 houses in all there.
Now, can I see that from the road to going up Parksville?
Not in this time of year. You can in winter time sometimes.
So that's right below the powerhouse,
You're
right?
below the house. Best way to do if you want to see it walk down there. It's a mile and a half powerhouse down there.
How far is it walk from where you had the bridge, from where the bridge started to that road?
It's around a mile and a half. Now, we used to have a swinging bridge down on that curve before you get for them to take the rafts out of
Yeah.
that curve back to sort of a swinging bridge. And on the far side, they still got the anchors in there where the cable was tied. But now on the road side, they blowed all that off in 1953 and widened the road there.
Now, if that bridge, was it scary going across it? To me,
No.
that'd be what would be on my mind.
No, I want to tell you a little deal about this Kenny Creek Bridge. The walking bridge. Raymond Roddy worked there. He'd leave on Friday evening. He always had a lady friend. He'd go to Cleveland. Then Sunday night he'd come back and ride across that swinging bridge with another different lady. And so we'd all gather up, all us boys and kids, watch him come across that swinging bridge. So he'd come across pretty swift, but it was strong enough to hold a motorcycle up.
Why would the people, did they need that many families living there to operate it?
They had to have that bridge because that's where the groceries come in at from Ocoee every Thursday. See, they called orders into Ocoee at Otto Stamper's grocery store there in Ocoee, and he'd deliver them on Thursday. So so we had to have
Otto Stamper?
Yeah, in Ocoee. Yeah, that store's been gone for years.
Was that over there close to where Hatcher's Grocery was? Maybe.
Well, it was down from bridge yard Ocoee about half a mile on the right. There used to be two stores down there.
I wonder if that's related to Joe Stamper.
The what?
Joe Stamper. Otto Stamper, was that related to him?
No, they finally, and years later, made Stamper Furniture Company in Cleveland, you know.
Yeah.
Same outfit.
Same people.
Yeah.
So what did you call in? Did everybody make their order, or did you just?
Yeah, we had telephone. You know, you ring them up, and they'd ring up one at a time. He'd take orders on Wednesday, and he'd deliver them on Thursday. The groceries.
Where was the phone at?
Oh, everybody had a phone.
So you just called on Wednesday?
Yeah. It wasn't ring-a-ding phones.
What if you didn't? What if you forgot something? Just waited till next week?
Yeah, you had to. Then wintertime roads were so bad, we'd come to Cleveland sometimes on Saturday morning, take us all the way to get to Cleveland if it's bad weather. And we always kept hatchets and axes in the car. We'd cut down small pines, throw them in the ruts.
What did Cleveland look like then?
Best I remember, it's improved 900%, but we used to bypass it all we could. You know, we thought that was a big place back then.
So when you came into town, I guess you was coming down Inman Street.
No, we come down, cut left at Pleasant Garden, went over and hit Spring Place Road. Because my dad always had some fox hunting buddies over there. He'd come by and say them, and then we'd come to Spring Place Road to Dalton Pike. My grandma lived on Dalton Pike. We'd come down there, get there about 1 or 2 o'clock on Saturday and start back next morning at daylight.
Where'd you stay that night?
Well, we stayed at my grandma's house on Dalton Pike.
Who all would go on that trip?
Everybody could get in the car.
Anybody that wanted to go?
Anybody, yeah, our family rather. Had no A-model, it'd be full coming in both ways.
That wasn't every weekend, right?
No, they were about once a month or every 2 months.
Was there how many? What did you have? Brothers and sisters?
Had 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Were they older?
Oh, I'm the youngest one.
So they had a good memories of Caney Creek.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Did you feel like you were living somewhere? Did you know at that time that you were living somewhere that was separate from the rest of Cleveland?
No, not really. I just fit in with the crowd. But I was in a lot of houses that wasn't as modern as our house. With all that indoor plumbing, and we had electric lights, which was unusual for a lot of houses back in them days. And we had a hotel there, and it also they had a small grocery store, which wasn't very much, in that hotel, but we could pick up bread or milk or something like that there.
Was it like so the normal people didn't just drive up there during the week? You were isolated from?
Well, most of the time, yeah. On weekends, we always had visitors.
But they weren't visitors you knew, right?
No,
they were just.
Well, in a way they were, yeah. They visitors, but we always had people up there playing tennis on Saturdays and Sundays, and they stayed at the hotel.
Why would they have a tennis court? Because there's just nothing else.
Well, Tennessee Power Company done that. It was 3 foot up off the ground. It's still up there as of today. You can dig in there and all that rubbish and brush and see that tennis court today.
So you're not the only survivor there, right?
There's one more besides me.
And who is that?
Geraldine Lowe King. Her dad's name was Frank Lowe.
And he worked there?
He worked on the labor crew. He's a carpenter up at on the flume line.
Was she there the whole time you were there?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Were y'all about the same age?
We were the same age, yeah. We had a little schoolhouse up there. First through the 8th.
Was she there the whole time you were there?
Yeah, all the time.
Was she there before you were there, or just your memory?
No, about the same time. We had a little school up there, and on Sunday they had a church in that schoolhouse.
What denomination was it? Or did it matter?
I don't think they had one.
Just church?
Just church. Then they'd talk somebody in to come in, maybe preaching or teaching the Bible.
Would they like come from out of town to preach there?
Yeah, they'd come from out of town. Yeah.
Of the 14 families, how many was that? There's 4 in a family?
Oh yeah, back then they had a big family. Some of them had 6 or 7 people.
Say 6 times 14 is what? 120 people?
I think so, something like that. I got a picture of all them kids on that flat.
What? This picture right here, is that you? Here, is that table?
Yeah, that's all the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one is you? Do you remember taking that picture?
I didn't take it. My deaf brother
but
did.
Do you which one? Let's see.
My deaf brother died several years ago.
Let's talk about him in a minute. Buddy.
Well, now, he was always stayed in Knoxville, Tennessee School for the Deaf.
I knew Buddy.
Well, he wrote a book on Caney Creek, but...
He was taller than you, wasn't he?
I was better looking than he was. He was a little taller. But
he was thin. I remember him.
Yeah, he was single, yeah. He couldn't talk,
He used to eat at the Cherokee restaurant.
Yeah, he'd talk when he got mad. But he died same week my wife died. I lost 5 people in 4 weeks.
Golly.
In 09, including my wife.
How'd you take it?
Well, if it wasn't my twin granddaughters, I wouldn't have wound up in Mosston Bend. It's hard on me, but I'm still here, though.
How'd you make it through?
Well, I had my twin granddaughters.
What'd they do?
Well, I went and seen them, and with that, with my granddaughters, and which I do nowadays.
Just talked it out?
Yeah, and just stayed busy, kept it off my mind.
That ain't easy, is it?
Not easy, but you gotta keep going.
You got two choices, right?
Yeah.
So what was wrong with Bud? Was Buddy at Caney Creek?
Yeah, no, not all the time. He stayed up in Knoxville, Tennessee School for Deaf. What happened, how come he was deaf, he had the mumps and somewhere or another swelled up in his ears and busted his eardrums, is what my mother always told me.
How much older was he than you?
He was about 6 years older than me.
So he was well, it must have been hard on him living in a whole nother state or county.
He didn't stay there about 2 weeks out of the year.
Stay where?
See, he stayed in Knoxville.
That's what I'm saying. Wasn't that hard on him?
I imagine it was. I don't know, but my daddy and mother's always saying about him, but he always had a good job, and he built a house over on Hunt Road when after he got out of Knoxville Tennessee School for Deaf. He was a Atlanta type operator.
He was a happy guy, wasn't he?
Well, he seemed to be, but I never did talk to him too much.
Could he not hear at all?
He couldn't hear, but he could talk when he got mad.
Boy, that's so sad, isn't it? So where's that picture, Glenn? Do you remember that? Do you remember when they took that picture? This one right here. Which one?
No, I don't remember that. I mean, I don't remember taking it, but I've always had it my whole life.
Which one is him?
It's just part of life.
Are you in that one?
Yeah, I'm in it.
Which one?
I'm up on the car. I used to name all of them, but that's been several years ago. I named them all when Debbie took them.
One of them's got looks like a airplane hat.
Well, that's me.
Was that you?
That's me.
Oh,
yeah.
that's you're on the second to the end.
Yeah. That's all the kids that's in the Caney Creek.
All of them?
No, there was a few more as older.
Mm-hmm. But you remember standing there?
Yeah, I remember that. Now, 4 of them kids lived up at number 3 Wooden Dam. The Martins had a house up on a hill.
Was that all in the 14?
No, that's 2 extra houses.
Oh.
Martin lived up on the hill at number 3 was we got a little spillway there in the Wooden Dam there at number 3 dam. Mm-hmm. And the Reimers lived up the collar right past that. Mm. So the Martins come into Cleveland when they done with all that, and the Reimers went to Greasy Creek.
What would have been a typical Sunday up there? Like right now, what would be going on?
They always had church. Somebody would come in and volunteer and preach, and somebody always volunteer and teach the Bible.
Was it 2 services or one?
No, just one service.
Did they have the Lord's Supper?
I don't remember.
They sing?
No, but they had singing.
They have a piano?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember it. It was a schoolhouse too, by the way. There's a picture of the school, kids went to school there too, you got.
To the 8th grade, right?
Yeah, to the 8th grade, yeah. Then after that, you caught the school bus, went to Polk County High School.
In that documentary, it said it was 54 miles round trip.
Well, that was when the ones that caught the bus went to Polk County to high school, which my 2 sisters did.
Now, you said there was only one survivor, Geraldine, right?
Yeah, Geraldine, yeah.
And she married Jack
King. Yeah.
So she married him. She met him later on.
Yeah, later years, yeah. They done moved down to, they lived on behind Roy Stillwell's service station on 411 up above Benton.
I don't
on
remember.
the Highway 30, that went, goes up towards Webb's store.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, up through that's Highway 30.
Oh, that's where they lived later, you mean?
Yeah,
Oh, you mean Jack?
Yeah. She met him in the high school there at Polk County.
Did she catch the bus and go to the school, or was Caney Creek
no,
already over?
She done moved out for then.
I didn't know Jack was from Polk County.
Well, yeah, Jack was raised over Cookson Creek.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, his daddy worked Forest Service.
Jack was always real nice to me.
Oh, he's a real good guy. I went to see him not long ago, and he smiled at me pretty big. We was pretty good buddies in church. We all went to Macedonia Church back years ago.
Does now when the kids got, like, on a Sunday night there, all the people have come to the motel and they've left. Everybody's played tennis, and it's Sunday evening. Everybody's got to go to work next day. What's happening at Caney Creek?
The kids playing up and down the sidewalk.
They had sidewalk?
Yeah, we had concrete sidewalks. We'd be on the sidewalk riding. If we had bicycles, you ride them. We never did have any, but one time we had one bicycle. It'd be on the sidewalk. It'd be outside most time. And of course, winter time you'd be in the house. Seen that lake froze over one time in 1939.
Does now there wasn't TV then, right? TV didn't come.
TV after 1939.
I mean, no TVs.
No. We just, a lot of people didn't even have a radio.
We just sit on the porch.
Yeah, sat on the porch or walked up and down the railroad tracks or the sidewalk. We had railroad tracks in front of the house.
From your house, could you see the road, the main road?
Oh, sure we could, yeah.
Was there how many cars a day would go down that road?
Probably you might see 4 or 5 or 6. One I remember mostly was a Mayfield truck. Sparky Watson drove it. Never will forget, and he'd blow the horn down at the lower end of the camp. Then if you wanted some ice cream, you went up and met him at the end of the bridge, and he'd stop at the ice cream truck. He'd say you brown cows or any kind of ice cream you wanted. And he was going to Ducktown and Copperhill and worked that. He'd be up there 3 days working the stores through Ducktown and Copperhill. Mm-hmm. Never will forget him. Sparky Watson was his name.
And he'd blow the horn.
Yeah, he'd blow the horn down on the road. As he come up through there, then we'd hear the horn. We'd take off running up and go across Swinging Bridge and meet him.
Was it like a nickel or something?
Oh, it wasn't very much. What? Very little. Then during the war, we'd go run and walk up and down the road, all us kids, and pick up tinfoil. Uh-huh. Then we'd take it down to the hotel to Mr. McClurry and trade for candy.
That was in what, 42, 40?
Yeah, that was in, I guess it's anything from 39 on up to maybe 43 or 43. See, we moved out there in 1943, but my dad lived there 2 more years after everybody else moved out. He didn't want to move.
So you stayed there by yourself? With your dad?
Yeah, we family lived there for 2 years.
What'd they do, just say you gotta leave?
Yeah, they threatened my dad, so told him he was going to farm, but he didn't
Why'd
leave.
they even want to move everybody out? Just didn't need the...
Well, the TVA, when they took over, they changed everything. And they give all the workers a raise, too. See, my dad made $26 a month during the Depression, which that was, he was working. Mm-hmm. So we had the car, and the superintendent of the village had a car, and there's 2
Where'd
cars.
Where'd you keep the cars?
There's 2 cars, and he had a model, and old man Vineyard had a Plymouth. I remember it like it yesterday.
Where'd you keep the cars?
Right across, there's a place right where the end of the bridge was. It's still dug out now. You can tell where the garages was. Mm. You can tell where it's been dug out over against the bank. They had a 2-car garage over one for my dad.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, and Mr. Vineyard had his car.
And nobody bothered the cars?
As far as I know, no. Somebody had bothered my dad's car one day, and he went to Ducktown on that Saturday, got way up there, and he found a man in the beer joint trying to pawn his spare tire and his jack and lug wrench, and they had a little fight, and he got his spare tire and his never will forget. I remember the man's name, but I'm not going to call it.
Was he from Cleveland?
No, he was from Turtletown, or Foreigner.
Yeah.
But Dad got his spare wheel and tire back. Of course, my dad liked to fight. He didn't mind for a scuffle. So later on in years, that man moved to Cleveland, and I seen him one day, and I asked him about it.
Is that right?
Yeah. He moved over behind the Murray truck stop, and I knew that rascal. I stopped and talked to him.
You just remembered the name?
I remembered the name, and then I didn't remember him, but I found out who he was and where he was from. So I asked him about it. He just grinned about it. But he remembered my dad. My dad was a fighter.
What made him be that way, a fighter?
Well, he was more of a one, got gas, had one lung took out. And I think he just liked to fight.
Was he skinny or heavy or what was it?
No, he just weighed about 180 pounds and full of guts and blood.
So when he was in the war, was he already married then, or did he come back and then get married?
No, he didn't get married till he actually come back and actually started working at Candy Creek. My mother started working at the hotel. She was a go-forth, and she lived up in Greasy Creek, but she was working over in that hotel. Back in them days, they went everywhere to find a job. So she got a job in that hotel, and my dad met her there and married her.
Where was she from?
She was from Greasy Creek.
Why was so many people from Greasy Creek back then? Seems like everybody was from Greasy Creek.
They had, I think mainly they could make a little moonshine up there and get by with it. That may have had a little something to do with it. But most people didn't make moonshine to make money. They made enough to buy lard and salt and pepper and this necessary things.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it to make a little moonshine to sell.
Was that song say corn don't grow on Rocky Top?
That's
so
right.
They have to do something else.
They used it to buy things they needed to survive.
Now the schools over there, do you think you got the same education by the time you was 13 that everybody else did?
No way. So sometimes we had volunteer teachers.
When you left there, you were what, 13 or 14?
Yeah, about 14. But I had a lot of sense. I made an engineer after that.
Where did you go to school when you got out?
Went to Tasso, 7th and 8th grade. I went to high school 2 years, but my dad wanted me to go to work.
When you went to Tasso, did you think you were behind the other students or about the same?
Well, I don't know. I graduated with them.
No problem?
I didn't have no trouble. I had common sense. So I must have done learned something. I've been in the dump truck business, race cars, and run a car lot.
Which one did you like the most?
Dump truck business. It made money, a lot of money.
Who did you haul for?
Myself.
Who would just anybody that would want gravel?
Yeah, anybody that called. I worked through Bradley Limestone. When the orders come in, I'd haul rock out.
Like Bradley Concrete.
Yeah, or Olin and
you were an independent truck driver.
Yeah, I was I had 3 trucks.
Did you have drivers?
Had drivers for them, yeah.
What did they do? Meet at your house and go from there every morning?
I didn't pave my house truck driving. I paved my house racing cars. Because my wife wanted a house and we got a house.
Why Kyle Lake Road?
Well, that's just where my uncle found this house out there John somebody owned. I went there and bought it on credit, but it had to be paid for.
Was it in good shape?
Oh, it was new. Yeah, it was new.
John, that would have been John.
He worked at a place here in Cleveland, one of his hosier mills. John, he lived over on Wildwood Avenue after that. I can't think of his last name, but anyway, I bought it on credit.
How much was it?
I think it was $12,000, which was a lot of money to me. But it got paid for.
How'd you get it on credit?
I just signed a note for it.
At the bank?
Well, I borrowed $500 at the bank on an old Buick I had to pay down on it. So I paid that back and paid John Farmer. John Farmer was his name. And he owed Vasco Mantooth on that house. And I had 3 payments made. So I just had to drive harder in that stock car and pay for it.
Did you have any wrecks?
Any wrecks?
Yeah.
Had one wreck all the time I was racing. I was lucky.
How fast did you go in the race cars?
I guess maybe 120, 130 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway. Now that Boyd Speedway was the fastest track.
How far was it around the track?
At Boyd's had a third of a mile, and at Cleveland was a fourth of a mile.
All the way around was a third of a mile?
Yeah.
So you're just going fast in a circle?
Yeah, yeah. Then I ran at Lakewood Speedway one time. It was a mile track.
Can you still remember, did you draft behind the other cars?
We didn't even know what drafting was back in them days. Well, I know now. But I just drove hard because I owed a lot of money.
How'd you get around them?
Wide open.
What if they didn't move out of the way?
I moved them out of the way.
How?
Hit them. I was going to learn, Dale Earnhardt how to drive. Yeah.
What made you want to drive like that?
I was broke.
Yeah, but why not go into something else?
I didn't know anything else to do. And I enjoyed racing. I enjoy it now.
Did you have to haul the car there?
I pulled it with another car.
You have a trailer, or did you just pull it?
No, I didn't have no trailer. Just pulled it with a tow bar made.
So you made the tow bar?
Some of these garages.
What do you think? Was race car driving the funnest thing you've done?
Racing cars is the most exciting thing I've done. Because I won racing, won a lot of trophies. Guess what I've done most of my trophies?
What?
Give them to the pretty ladies.
The ladies like the race car drivers?
They like them. I understand pretty good. So I've got 3 trophies left, all that I won.
What year did you quit racing?
1968 or 69. Things got, they quit running 34 Ford and started running these little skaters. And I didn't like the skater. They didn't have a top on them. And several of my friends got killed in skater races. Harold Farrer got killed in Huntsville, Alabama in 1971.
What did it do, just take his head off?
No, his Universal joint come out of another car and hit him between the eyes and killed him in Huntsville, Alabama. He was a pretty good friend of mine. Let me tell you a good joke on Harold Farrer. We was up at Athens. They used to have a racetrack one night. But I run better up there than anywhere, so I won 2 heats in a feature. Harold Farrer said, "Come go with me," and got me by the arm. We got in the middle of the track. And up there, if you was a winner, they booed you. So we went out on the track and started bowing at the crowd. They started throwing full cans of beer at us. And he just died laughing. He had all his crew gathered up to his cans of beer. He said, "We've got enough beer to last a week." He's a guy of a comedian, but he's a good stock car driver. Another good stock car driver was Tootie Lestis from Knoxville. He's a real good racer. He raced in Cleveland every Saturday night.
Did you go down here to the Speedway a lot, even after you quit racing?
Not over a dozen times at the most. When I got through racing, I was pretty well wound up. I went back down there one night. They presented me with a red cap with my name on it, which I thought was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. Like the old retired drivers or something. Now, in order to be a big speed, to get into big money, I guess you'd have to have sponsors and all that stuff.
Well, I was lucky, and my brother was too. At one time, I had the old original Pan Am Oil Company, and my brother had the Coca-Cola Company. So then when he fell in love and quit, I got his sponsor too. So I had the Coca-Cola Company and the Pan Am Oil Company both for a couple, 2 years. That helped out a lot.
What'd they do? Pay you to put their sign on the car?
Oh, yeah. The Coca-Cola Company got it through Mr. Johnson, the local Coca-Cola Company. Then Pan Am Oil Company come through Jimmy Corn over at, on the Pan Amco.
Amoco.
Yeah.
Did they? What'd you have to do? Just did you have to wear their shirt or just put a name on the car?
No, we just put the name on the car.
What'd they pay you for that?
Something like $1,000.
For a year?
Yeah, for a year, which that was mighty cheap.
That was a lot. Wasn't that a lot though back then?
That was a lot of money back in them days, yeah. Then 2 years I had both sponsors. That helped out a whole lot. Mm-hmm. But it was entertaining and made a little money. And I sure did like the broad sliding car. There wasn't nobody broad sliding car like me.
What does that mean?
Go sideways through the turn. I think I can do it now.
How do you have to do that?
You go in a turn with a good car wide open and cut it to the left and watch it go. And you come out.
Well, how do you keep from spinning around in a circle?
Well, that's just luck. You got to learn to drive it that way.
So you just...
And I'd come out of a turn wide open. I could pass every car down the straightaway.
So it was like a feeling. You had to have the feel.
That really excited me, sliding the car.
Yeah. So you'd come around it like this, and then by the time they'd getting around the corner, you was already headed out.
I'd like to have a car right now and take you a ride in that thing. I could explain it better that way than I couldn't tell you about it.
Did you get many speeding tickets though when you was regular driving?
No, I didn't on the highway. I never did speed much. I don't remember one speeding ticket I'd ever got in my life.
Did these sponsors come to you or did you go to them?
I went to the Pan Am Company one time, but the Coca-Cola Company came to us. Mm-hmm. But now let me tell you about that though. He always would buy an Oldsmobile. He'd come to Jack Fox's garage, want 20 exhaust put on it, and then we had a good chance to talk to him, see. Mm-hmm.
You got him cornered.
Yeah. Them two guys got killed the other night in front of his old house on Ocoee Street, by the way.
Is that where he lived?
Yeah,
David Jenkins,
yeah. They knocked that tree down.
Where was his gas station at, or his car lot?
No, Mr. Johnson owned the Coca-Cola Company. But Jack Fox's garage used to be right there across from North Cleveland Baptist Church. They made an insurance company office out of it. There used to be a garage.
I don't remember that garage.
Well, Jack Fox Sr. run it, and he had a heart attack and died. Then Junior Fox's son come out of the Navy, and he run it for several years. Then he finally sold it. Somebody made an insurance office, and it's still that way now.
Now, you mentioned your brother. What's his name?
I had one named Harold Germ, but they called him Cooney. He was a race car driver too.
What does he do for a living, or what did he do?
He was an engineer for the Tennessee Highway Department. I was for 7 years. We both made engineers.
Tennessee Highway Department.
Yeah.
Did you know Troy Dixon?
I know the name.
He worked as an appraiser for the road department. Is that the same department?
No, you're talking about the county. I'm talking about we work for the state. And how come us make engineers? They sent us to school in Chattanooga. My brother and myself both. We made engineers. And I never did like it. I hated that job.
Was that before you quit racing?
No, yes, that was before.
So you already had a regular job?
Yeah.
Racing was a hobby?
Yeah, racing was a hobby, but the state didn't pay much money.
But how did you get to work to a job at the state?
Oh, they furnished me a car.
But how did you get the job at the state?
Oh, Gene Calloway got me the job. He was a politician. You had to be a politician back in them days.
What's your connection to Gene Calloway?
Well, Gene Calloway knew my dad real well. So
Now that was related to Ben Lewis, Ben Moore, which lived on Kyle Lake Road also.
Well, Ben Moore lived down below me.
He just died, right?
Yeah, he just died and buried him
Monday.
2 days ago. Yeah, I knew Ben.
Mm-hmm. Did you live close to him, to his trailer?
I lived within a half mile of him.
I went out to see him about a month ago at his place.
Well, let me tell you a good little joke on Ben.
There's probably a lot of them.
He owned that farm down below me, so he had a 4-wheel drive Dodge truck. This had been 2 years ago. So he was going right down the field one day to check on his cow, and he got stuck. Well, that thing buried down, and he just sat there running it wide open, and the Cadillac converter had dry grass.
And it burnt, it's caught on fire.
Burnt the truck down. It's still sitting there right now.
With dog hair in the front seat.
Yeah. He had a bunch of papers. He wasn't worrying about the truck. He had a bunch of papers in the cab of it.
And the truck's still there?
It's still there, yeah. Was
That's across from his house.
It's probably 3,000 or 4,000, about 3,000 feet.
Across the road.
Yeah, he owns 2 trailers out there. His son used to live in one of them, but he moved in there. His house got so nasty. I guess how old men do. And he moved up from his son's trailer.
Did you know him pretty well?
I knew him real well. There wasn't one like him.
No. But you're hit now. Gene Calloway how was he related to Ben?
I don't know how.
There's a relation there, though, right?
I don't know. I really don't know. Gene Calloway, he was
I never knew him.
He was a good businessman. He also owned an insurance company in Nashville, by the way.
I didn't know him.
He was a politician.
So how did your dad ask him to give you 2 boys a job?
Now, I think how my dad knew him, he bought a 1937 Plymouth from him. He was a Chrysler and Plymouth dealer, you know. I think that's how they got acquainted.
At Callaway's Motor or something.
Yeah, yeah.
You know that light out there, when you pull up that pole light, that came from that Callaway Motors. But so, how old were you when you went to work for the state?
Oh, I guess I was probably 30 years old, 29 or 30.
So he got y'all a job?
Oh, yeah.
Your dad seemed like a can-do guy.
Well, my dad just knew everybody. And if you lived at his house, you worked. If you didn't get a job, he'd get you one.
Well, he got his tire back. He wasn't going to leave his house. He got y'all a job. He seemed like a...
Yeah. And also he raised fox dogs and bird dogs, too.
Wonder what the difference between a coon dog and a fox dog? Just knowing the smell or something?
They just hunt different animals.
Did he fox hunt up at Caney Creek?
He had a few dogs up there, but most of them when he moved He used to live there where the Walgreens drugstore is right now on North Lee Highway. We had an old two-story house there, and he had dog lots there. And finally, we moved over on 21st Street next door to Lawrence Renfro. And
that's where you lived. That's where you ended up.
That's where we ended up. Yeah. And then we got married and left.
Was that across from Mr. Moore's house?
No. That's on Kyle Lake Road, Mr. Moore's house.
But there's wasn't there another one on 21st Street, a Moore?
I don't remember him. But they could
next to Lawrence, across the street from Lawrence.
Well,
let's see.
Lived down below us was Alan Jones' mother and daddy.
That's where Alan was born.
Yeah.
Next door to Lawrence Renfro.
That's right, yeah. Sure did.
Do you know him, Alan?
I'm afraid I
do. He lived next door to them. Yeah. His sister still lives there, right?
I don't know.
I think she does. So how old were you when you lived there on 21st Street?
I was in my 20s, because I got married when I was 27, and I left there then. Now I rented a house out behind Fox's Garage, because that's where my stock car stayed at. Then we bought a house out on Kyle Lake Road, stayed there the rest of the years.
What do you remember about Caney Creek?
Anything that you want to know. I remember the good times.
Would you spend $10,000 to be sitting in Caney Creek on a Sunday night?
I would if it was like it was back in them days when that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, if that is peaceful. Now on Halloween, they got pretty wild up there. Grady Cry shot G. Cry, his first cousin, in the leg with a shotgun. And my dad and...
By accident?
I don't really know about that.
Which Cries was that?
There's one they moved into Benton, both of them did.
Which was that, Doyle Cry or Tom Cry's relative?
No, Lamb.
None of them?
No, this was Manny Cry and Frank Cry.
So they don't know if you're not sure if he shot him by accident.
Anything you want to know, I can tell you. By the way.
Well, tell me about Halloween. What did they have? Trick or treaters there?
Like a bunch of kids do. They gathered up and down the sidewalk and railroad track.
Did you have people visiting there like Halloween?
Very few people.
So you were stuck right there.
Yeah, just mostly local people.
Was there coyotes there? Bears or anything like that?
I've seen bears. I don't remember any coyotes. Seen one wild hog my time.
What'd you do if you had emergency like a?
You called my dad because he had an A model car. He'd take you up Gwen's Hospital in Ducktown. He had a hospital up there in an old house, which is still standing. I seen it the other day. And there's a doctor up in Ducktown. He took you up to Ducktown.
That doctor in Ducktown, was that the one that did all the abortions?
No,
remember
that was McCaysville, Georgia.
McCaysville, yeah.
Yeah, McCaysville. I had an uncle lived in McCaysville, Ernest German. He was a preacher. He worked in the mines too, and he was a preacher. He just died 4 years ago. He was 99.
If you were at Caney Creek, where was it closer? Was it closer to go to Where was the closest town to go?
Closest place to go was Ducktown. And of course, Copper Hill's not far from it.
Was Ducktown a booming place at the time?
Had a lot of beer joints.
It was the Wild West?
Well, it was pretty wild. It's a mining town.
What about Farner?
Oh, that's out in the country.
Was there
Turtletown, Farner.
There was no town, so Ducktown was the town.
No, it's just a wide place, Road, Farner, and Turtletown.
So Ducktown's where everybody came to blow off steam.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just a wide place and road.
Ducktown.
Yeah. No, Ducktown now, it is a pretty wild place on the weekends. Had a lot of beer joints. Anytime you got a lot of beer joints, you got problems.
You got troubles.
Yeah.
the guy that was doing all the abortions in Ducktown, in McKaysville, what was his name?
I don't know.
He had a documentary.
I've seen more of it on television than
you did.
Anything else. But my uncle, Ernest German, he can tell you all about it, but he's dead.
Now, Ernest was married to your dad's brother.
Yeah, he was the youngest brother.
Now, he didn't live in Caney Creek, right?
No, he lived in McKaysville, but they was all born in Morganton, Georgia, up 6 miles out in Blue Ridge.
Yeah, that's the mineral place, right?
Yeah.
Mineral Bluff?
Yeah, they toured between Mineral Bluff and Blue Ridge. I was up there last Thursday.
I like it up there.
Yeah.
Boy, that's changed, hasn't it?
It's changed. It's a good business town right now.
They got Lowe's,
There's
Home
several
Depot,
Cleveland
Walmart.
people got businesses up there.
I like it up there, but I like McKaysville and Copper Hill.
Yeah.
Was Copper Hill a busy place then?
Copper Hill was also, somebody was killed in Copper Hill every Friday and Saturday night most times back before WW2. It was wild. I can remember a lot about it.
Copper Hill was a pretty big town, right?
At that time it was.
But it was another 5 miles down the road, which was a big deal, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's where the Toccoa River changes to the Ocoee River or something. Don't they have a
All
sign?
the water comes from Blue Ridge, comes down down through Copper Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it got flooded back in
I remember that.
1968, 69.
And again in, 1990 or something, didn't it get flooded again?
Yeah, they got about 6 feet of water in the building down through there, according to television.
I went down over there and there's those places, they have a mark on the wall said the water came to here.
I seen part of that Thursday.
Didn't TVA create that, or I can't remember?
No, see all that water from up through Blue Ridge and Morgan, all through comes down behind there. There's a lot of water comes down through there, and so it just flooded down through there.
So it
rained, a lot.
So it's just a normal thing. Just got to get time to get out.
Yeah.
It's sort of in a bowl.
Yeah.
That's why they call it Copper Basin.
That's right.
I guess, right?
I guess
it's a basin.
So. Yeah, when they done with the copper company, they flooded the mines. They left all the equipment in there. They tell me and flooded the mines.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When you were there, was it all? I've seen pictures of no trees.
I just went through there back when I was growing up. I didn't live there.
Yeah, but was it all that looked like no trees and all barren?
No trees at all. They didn't have them, for years. Mm-hmm. They started planting trees up there, in the late 40s and early 50s,
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a whole nother story, isn't it?
It's
at Copper Hill.
Debbie Moore made a film of that, but she didn't get no pictures back when it was bare, Mm-hmm. So but she was a
where does she work, or is that all she does?
She's an ex-school teacher. She used to teach at Black Fox. She's a friend of Kathy's. She's a good woman.
Debbie Moore.
Then
she was married to Ron, right?
Ron Moore. She was married to Ron, but after we got through making that Caney Creek picture, he died, with a heart attack.
I knew he died. He used to do the cable TV, right?
Yeah, I was on their show 33 times on Saturday morning.
Oh.
Talking about Caney Creek and race, mostly about racing.
I remember that morning show they had on Whoop, right?
Yeah, I was on there 33 times in 4 years.
Does anybody listen to that?
Me? No, I
did you ever call in there when you was there?
No, I was always on the show.
You was on it. Who else was? You remember when Hoyt Clark was on there? He was on there one time.
Well, yeah, and T.A. Hicks, and she had Billy Fryer on there, Harold Fryer's brother, several times. I was on there most times because I didn't charge them anything.
But you're leaving some gaps out between the time you were 20 to the time you went to work for the state.
Well, I was busy doing something. Well, I must have been in the dump truck business then. It took up most of my time.
You sold the dump truck business and then you went to work for the state?
No, I went to work for the state first.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That when you was 30.
Yeah, I quit state to go in the dump truck business. I had an opportunity to go in the dump truck business. Mr. Bandy out the quarry told me, said, if you'll bring a truck out here, says, I'll work you. And that's what he done. So I stayed out there 14 years.
That was a good times, wasn't it? Just
Real
driving the truck.
Well, it was financially for me.
And no boss really, other than just get the gravel there.
Yeah. And I had a good business build up too. I owed all the contractors the rock because I could spread rock.
Now, would you say the contractors, you mean
When people build houses,
such as
people like you,
Doug Gay?
Yeah, I hold people like you that want the rock spread real pretty and thin.
Yeah, you were the Stacy Suttles of today. That's who I use, Stacy Suttles. He can spread it and you don't even need a bobcat.
I was the best spreader in Bradley County.
Did you get out and let the tailgate back and put the chain on?
I knew how to adjust it and how to fly low and spread, do a good job.
And look out for power lines.
I rocked every subdivision in Bradley County.
Was it also, who was Doug, you know Doug Gay? You remember him? Or John Kinder?
Yeah, he's that Doug Gay. Yeah, he's a house builder.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Gay.
He built during that era. And
yeah.
John Kinder.
Yeah.
Do you know John?
John Kinder. Then one, two guys that went to First Baptist. His widow's still living. Hauled him a lot of rock.
Randall Fisher.
Yeah, hauled him rock. Anybody had a subdivision I rocked it. Then I done a lot of rocking for the Lewis brothers boys back in them days.
Ben and Johnny?
Yeah, but people don't know it, but now old Waldo Davis was a money man.
You mean Kalo?
Well, they helped too, but Waldo Davis was the main man behind them boys when they was doing a lot of business.
Was Roscoe Kalo's daddy?
Well, this is Waldo Davis. He died a long time ago.
Vaughn Hamilton. That's who I'm trying to think
Vaughn
of.
Hamilton?
Yeah, Vaughn Hamilton. You remember Vaughn?
He was a good guy.
Boy, he was.
He was. He was a real good guy.
They just think they developed subdivision. Vaughn Hamilton developed subdivision, didn't he?
Vaughn Hamilton was a pretty good guy to haul rock to. He'd pay you. A lot of these old boys wouldn't pay you.
They wanted to wait, don't they?
Yeah, they want to wait, and I couldn't handle that. Of course, Quarry paid me. They guaranteed me my money.
The gravel money?
Yeah.
But not the haul bill?
No, the haul bill, what they guaranteed me, they didn't guarantee me.
Oh.
But they guaranteed me my haul bill.
What'd you do, send them a bill once a month or
no,
what?
they kept, Beverly Fennell kept up with it. She worked for him, and she kept up with it.
That was Ralph's wife?
Ralph, yeah. Then, Ralph finally got killed.
He killed himself, didn't he? I
Well,
mean,
no,
he was under an RV?
He crawled under a motorized RV, and it fell
on him, yeah. They said he went and looked at a piece of property one time and said, I think I'll buy that. And he went and looked it up, and he owned it.
Well, but the way it's happened Ben Moore lately, too. Ben Moore owns land there, boys.
I'll bet Ralph Fennell owned more land than Ben. What do you reckon?
I'd say Ralph owned him a lot more, and he's got a lot better land, too. I mean, which be good for, not even right now. Beverly still owns it. She lives over off
I don't think I've ever met her.
She's a nice lady.
Now,
guess what, too?
What?
She's also a dancer.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Square dancer?
She can do any kind of dance like I can.
How old would she be?
Oh, Lord, she's older than I am. I don't know, but I'll be 90 next month, and I think she's a year or two older than me, I think.
I got a friend of mine that's 92, and he's getting married this week.
Well, he's off a little bit. I'd check his mind. I'm 90, and what would I need with a lady?
I asked him. He said, "I'll let you know." That's what he said.
I can tell him right now.
I wouldn't get married again, would you? Too much.
I had the best. I don't need the rest.
That's what I got. Do you think?
I can tell you how I can prove I had the best. Talk to that lady right there. Yes. She's just like her mother.
Is that right?
If you knew her mother, you know her.
Is she a spitting image?
She acts just like her
Is she
mother.
Did you live in Cleveland your whole life?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a retired school teacher.
Where at?
Michigan Avenue.
They say that's a good school. People that go to that school.
Absolutely.
Well, let me tell you now how good this. Jackie Evans' 3 daughters went there. You know Jackie Evans?
Yeah, I know Jackie.
Jackie Evans is a smart man.
Yeah, he's got Rhonda and Whitney.
I knew Jackie when he worked for Lona's Construction Company. See, he used to work for Lona's. He'd go out and rent the bulldozers and dump trucks.
Which Lona's? The road people?
Well, yeah,
Frank and...
Yeah, Bill Lona's. He
Bill
died
Lona's,
years ago, and Ken. And there was another one there, I can't think of his name, but, you know, there was a construction business.
And then their boys went into it.
Yeah.
Randy and Bob.
Yeah. But they didn't... But Ken and Bill was main Lona's boys. Bill had died having some heart work done years ago. And Ken, looked at the asphalt business.
Mm-hmm. But what'd you do from the time you was 20 to the time you was 30 before you got the state job? Where'd you work?
I was in the dump truck business. I went in dump truck business when I quit the state highway department.
What about before the state?
Before the state, I was racing stock cars. Then I made a mistake.
I believe if I was your wife, I'd told you to quit riding. I told you I'd wanted a house and quit racing.
She got the house. She wanted the house, and I got the house, and I paid for it.
What was Ringo? Now, Ringo, Georgia, you were what, 20 when you got married? 21?
Well, let's see.
No, 27.
Got married in 1954. I guess I was 20. No, I was born, I guess I was 26.
27,
yeah.
And you met her dancing?
Well, I met her at the square dance.
Was square dancing popular then?
Back then it was.
I thought it was
popular.
the jitterbug.
Yeah. No, square dancing was around here then. If I can do any kind of dance, I don't care what it is. Or used to.
Jitterbug?
Anything, I don't care what I can do it. All I need is a good partner.
Did you have, would you go to, and you met her at a square dance?
I met her there.
Where at?
At Ringo Square Dance.
They had a square dance every Saturday night or something?
Yeah, every Saturday night, yeah.
What was her maiden name?
Pilcher.
Pilcher?
Pilcher.
And her family was from Ringo?
Another Tunnel Hill.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you met her there, but she was right from your end of the town.
Yeah, she lived between Dalton and Tunnel
That's how you
Hill.
struck up a conversation, I guess.
Yeah. I'd like to have her back, but she's in a better place.
You believe you'll see her again?
I know I will.
That's what the Bible says, doesn't it?
That's right.
It says we will know as we have known.
That's right. She
So-
paid her dues here, so they called her home. She played our organ 50 years.
At the church?
Taught Sunday school.
At
34
Macedonia?
Years at Macedonia. She paid her dues here. Great lady. You can see that by her.
Yeah. Show us another picture, Gwen, of Caney Creek.
This your office right here?
Yeah, it's my office. There you are. Is
That's
that what?
me,
Yeah.
yeah.
What seat? Where are you sitting?
I'm
You're
sitting on our house at Caney Creek.
your house.
Yeah, that's where we
Now,
live.
now I gotta be honest with you. It's gotta be pretty sad looking at that.
Well,
if I'm you.
It had nice memories. Now I got one picture there with Kathy sitting me there.
Is that?
And I don't know sure. That looks like a hotel.
No, yeah, that's the hotel.
That looks like the hotel.
Now right there's your house on the.
See that old hotel on the right, and that railroad track in front of it. That was a dinky. You see that dinky on right in front of it.
Who's that up on the porch?
Well, I can't see it that good. I don't know.
Well, it looks like that porch that you were telling me was your house.
Well, that's further down. That's close
so
to
you
the
didn't
hotel.
have you didn't
we
have.
We live way back this side there.
There's your house.
There's a house right there.
That's your house?
That's our house, yeah.
Now, is that where you operated on the cat?
Yeah, under the floor. You ain't supposed to tell that. If you get this on the
I'm gonna put this.
Publicize that, I'm in trouble.
We got any more pictures, Glenn? Now, do you recognize anybody? That guy looks like he's got one arm.
Two of the guys, I can't remember their names, but those are the guys that lived there in Kenny Creek.
Looks like he's got an arm gone.
They've probably been down playing tennis, I guess. Had one or two guys up there played tennis a lot.
I guess they smoked, right? Everybody smoked then.
Everybody smoked back in them days.
What's that?
That's old hotel. There's men that worked out at Power House and on the Plume Line. I used to could name every one of them. I don't know where I can now or not. That's been 15 years ago or better.
If those people
My dad is right the second one on the bottom, on the left-hand side there. He is the second man down there.
With the hair, got a lot of hair?
Yeah, I got some hair standing straight up and slick face. That's my dad. And next door to him was Charlie Walker. And on the left-hand side, Ed Higdon.
Were they all good friends?
Yeah, they was all friends with each other.
The wives get along?
I guess, I don't know. But anyway, Mr. Vineyard's that guy in black down on the right, that big, long, tall guy.
Yeah.
Mulder Moore's on the left-hand side. Edgar Poe's next to him. Frank Cry's next to them, white overalls on.
Yeah.
Then Frank Lowe's next.
That was Geraldine's daddy?
Yeah, and then that big, long, tall guy standing up there.
Yeah.
That's Manny Cry. There's Don Gaston next. And there's Mr. Merle back there on the corner with the glasses on. And then down on the bottom, back over here again, on the other side, Mr. McClure run the hotel. Hugh Smartin worked up number 3. Arthur Reimer worked up number 3. And he lived in the holler. Then that on over a little further, I can't, my dad's over next to them on this way.
He's got the coat on.
Yeah, with the black coat on.
Yeah.
He's a switchboard operator in the powerhouse.
The guy on the bottom right, he's got the suit on. He run the hotel.
Yeah,
he
that
felt
guy
like
with the suit on. He run the hotel.
Why did he feel like he had to wear a suit?
Well, I don't guess he had to. He's always kind of a classy kind of a guy. Then when he left there, he opened up a restaurant down at Ocoee. But that interchange up there is all changed now, what it used to be.
So his restaurants,
it's been gone for years. See, they
wasn't the New Yorker, right? Didn't they have a New Yorker diner up there at Ocoee?
I don't know. I think
No,
so.
I'm thinking Copper Hill, so.
Yeah. In New York, had one in Copper Hill.
Yeah, the New Yorker.
Yeah, had one.
Did you ever eat there?
I don't remember if I did. I ate Southern Charm Thursday up in Blue Ridge. You were Southern Charm?
Yep, I've eaten there. That's where they have they give you the big bowls, right?
Yeah, they're good food. I eat there Thursday.
I've eaten up there.
Oh, well, there's the swinging bridge.
Yeah.
One of them is my sister. I can't see the other two too well, but that's swinging bridge. See, on the far side behind them is the one that, over on the road side where they blowed off in 1953. And on this side, back in what they're looking at, the anchors are still in the rock wall.
That boy on the left's got those long pants that are short. You know, like a golfer wears.
I'm not, now I can't see good enough to see which one was my sister. My sister Inez is one of those girls. Is that car behind there?
Yep, is that your dad's?
It's either it or Mr. Vineyard's one. I believe it's Mr. Vineyard's.
How'd he get the car over there? Did he drive that across the bridge?
That's on the road side.
Oh, I'm looking at it backwards.
It's on the road side. We're looking back towards the road there. But then they got down on the foot of this bridge on this side. I noticed last time I was up there still had the rock where the bridge ended out on this side on the Kenny Creek side. Now you're looking back towards the road there.
Those were good times, weren't they?
Extra good times. Good times. Wasn't no trouble. We didn't hear about everything going on. We just had radio and that's all.
And not even everybody had that.
That's right.
Did they listen to the radio like we listen to Fox News?
Yeah, like we do television now.
All the time going on?
Yeah, they always kept the radio on.
You ever listen to
Lum and Abner.
How about Amos and Andy?
And yeah, Amos and Andy and Lum and Abner.
Kingfish.
I remember all of them.
You remember what was it? Algonquin J. Calhoun.
I remember hearing them. Yeah, years ago.
How about the Lone Ranger?
Remember him?
Can you say that intro? Out of the West came the.
Oh, I don't know.
Remember what I'm talking about though?
That's been years ago. Yeah, that was years ago.
Now, how are you related to Chris German?
Then we're getting in trouble now. I
Probably
believe
so.
you said a dirty word. But I'm about to change on him. He lost his wife.
Boy, he did like 2 weeks
And
ago.
let me tell you something else he done. John there was included in it. He honored me up Sweetwater Friday night before last.
Chris?
Yeah. He was the head ringleader of it. So I'm going to have to change my tune about him a little
Why
bit.
Sweetwater?
Well, he's over this, what kind of deal is he's over?
They do a big mountain run with mountain Camaros.
Oh, yeah, he's big into cars.
Yeah.
Now, whose son is that?
That is Cotton German, my first cousin. We raised him, kept him for 17 years. He pulled a little drunk for a long time. He worked at Bowater and got fired there. And his dad threw him out of the house, and my dad took him in. We kept him for 17 years. That was his dad, Cotton. He lived at Birchwood. He died 2 years ago. But he's a pretty good guy. He used to like A-model roadsters.
Y'all were all into cars.
But and he always run around with us, his house full of us boys. And his family had all the girls. He was the only boy, so and he went to work at Bowen and he got drinking quite a bit. His dad threw him out of the house.
Who got to drinking? Cotton or?
Yeah, Cotton did. So my dad took him in. We kept him about 17 years. Of course, my dad would take a little drink with him too. Of course, my dad was much of a man. He wasn't afraid of nobody.
I guess they had to do something to entertain, right?
Well, he entertained himself sometimes by fighting. My dad did. He wasn't afraid of nobody.
Did people fight more back then than they do
Oh, yeah,
now?
a whole lot more.
Now,
But now, when he went into a crowd, you know how they keep their gun right back here now? My dad, a lot of times, I've seen a 45 on him back there.
back then, you watched a little more about what you said about people because you was afraid they'd hit
you
you.
respect them
Now
more.
you watch what you say because they might start crying, right?
Well, I guess. I haven't tried that. I'll try that. before I could pass off.
Do you think people are different now than overall than they used to be?
1,000% different.
Give me an example.
Well, back then, you could ask for help or ask for a favor, they'd help you. Nowadays, they don't do that. They look at you and walk on off. But I've seen a lot of bums back in my days when I lived at Canyon Creek. The Depression years was going on. They'd walk up and down that road. Then they'd come over to Canyon Creek. All them people would feed them.
Where were they going?
They just out roaming around.
That's a long way to. That's a long
job.
But that was a long way to be walking.
Well, they got out and moved around. They'd walk, wherever they wanted.
The Depression? You were born right after the Depression.
I was born during the Depression. I was born in 1931 during the Depression.
You're in that greatest generation, they call it. Who was that? Dan Rather had that documentary on the greatest. You're it. Right?
I also was born in the gentleman generation, too.
And what?
A gentleman generation.
What do they call that?
Well, that was where the people treated you right and you treated them right.
Gentleman's generation?
Yeah, I learned treating people right back in them days, but I guess I slipped off a little bit, but you treated everybody right.
No matter what?
Yeah.
Now
people lies to you.
Why did you treat them right then? Was it just morals or ethics or religion?
Yeah, morals, yeah. I think so mostly, yeah. I think that had a lot to do with it.
Now, did they get that from their father or their mother?
I'd say from my mother, I'd say. Mom is the backbone of a marriage anyway. There's a woman is smarter than a man, and
they're smart in the right ways.
In the right way, yeah. Ladylike way. You ain't never met nobody like me, have you?
I've met a few.
Not many.
Not many.
Yeah.
What do you think that?
What am I thinking?
What do you think about the look of America today versus then?
It's gonna blow plumb to hell before long. It ain't gonna last much longer. It ain't no way. Now I'm gonna give you an example. What's really been on my heart lately, bad. This guy had it made with this lady in Florida, 22-year-old lady. He had to have it made, but he travels up through Colorado and all, and he had it made with her. Well, guess what he does? He goes up there and chokes her death and leaves her up there and comes back.
Oh, that thing, yeah.
You know what they would do? They don't shoot him. Take him back up there and call me to choke him first, then have 20 women behind him reach in and choke him with themselves.
But that won't happen, right?
That won't happen.
That won't happen.
That won't happen, but it should.
Back years ago, was there more consequences for what? Was there more immediate consequences for what you did?
That's right. Yeah.
So if we had immediate consequences, we'd watch what we do, no matter what it is.
Yeah, you treat people better.
They might shoot you then, or you might go to jail, or you might starve.
But you know what? I hope they don't shoot that guy when they catch him. I hope that somebody chokes him. That's a bad thing to say, me going to church trying to do right. But sorry rascal like him, he don't deserve this to be shot.
Too dangerous.
He needs to be choked just like what he done to that lady. Mm-hmm. And I thought about them people loved her too.
Well,
like
sure.
His people loved him. And he had to have help from his people when he come back to Florida. You know where he's at? Somewhere's enjoying himself now, and they furnished him money in the car.
Why, sure.
His people had to, or they'd done got him. That's my opinion. That's not his or yours or hers, but it's mine.
Do you think people back then were more self-sufficient?
Yeah. Had to be.
Because they had come out of the Depression, right?
Yeah, and they appreciated things that was done for them.
Did they throw things away, or was everything kept?
I think they kept more things back in them days. Because like anything they could use anyway. I remember one time, you know, they even collected up newspapers and they'd sell them in tin foil. I remember them days pretty well. And I'm going to have to stop and go to the bathroom, by the way. He was racing a new V8 Studebaker, low boy. Them Hudson Hornets passed us on the 75th lap, 100 lap race, and lapped us before the 100 laps was over. They blowed our doors. It seems they come out with twin carburetors and the front end was wider than the back end. They'd come to a curve and they'd just slide through and never lose their speed.
When you say slide, you're talking about that move that you did?
Yeah. And they'd say that
How
front
far have you been able to? You just go through
all
one.
the way around Cleveland Speedway one night and won $500. But I had a modified car, it had a lot of power.
Now tell me about that. How'd you win $500?
Well, I slid all the way around the track sideways.
What was that, a bet?
As a bet I made.
How fast you had?
I'm gonna tell you, I was a very good stock car driver.
Evidently, 163 wins of anything's got to be good.
Yeah, and I bought my wife that house too. She deserved the best, and she was the best. And love her more right now than I ever loved her in my life.
How long's she been dead?
13 years. I dated another woman about a year, but we went on a lot of bus trips, but that was a mistake. I just look at them now.
I know the feeling. Let me ask you this. Tell me more about your dad. Did he go to that church there at Caney Creek? Did the whole family go?
No, the whole family didn't. He never did go.
He wouldn't
He
go?
didn't go till he met T.L. Larry. And T.L. Larry led him to the Lord. And he got to preaching. The last 4 or 5 years he lived.
Is that right?
And
How did you meet T.L. Lowry?
he went over at North Cleveland Church of God. All of his people went over except him. He had three sisters and a brother, and a brother-in-law went over there. So they invited him over several times, and he met T.L. Larry. T.L. Larry T.L. could reach out and grab you like that, you know. He was a smart man.
He was for God, that's for sure.
Sure he was, and then on top of that, we'd go over in Hampton County when they first put up, what's the name of that restaurant, Kathy?
Countryside, yeah. T.L. ate there a lot.
And T.L. would say, hey, come over and sit with my wife. Sit and talk to her. And I'd go over and talk to her. But T.L. Larry was one of a kind.
What was his wife's name? I know her name.
Well, I don't remember, but I'll stay with her and eat with her.
Marilyn?
I couldn't.
No.
No, it wasn't it. But let me ask you this. You know you're a builder. Now, Chris's wife died 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. They had her funeral at T.L. Larry Center. I understand that Perry Stone bought that building.
I built it for T.L.
Yeah, did. Well, Perry Stone owns it now, don't he?
I think so.
And they had her funeral over there.
Are you looking forward to death, seeing your wife?
No, I'm not looking forward. I'm not hurrying myself off. I know where she's at. She's with the Lord. And if she's not there, there ain't nobody there. That lady paid her dues.
That's a good thought.
She paid her dues playing that piano, organ 50 years, and taught Sunday school 34 years, and she treated everybody decent.
If that don't get it, I don't know what will.
I don't know either. And she's a great lady. And I'll tell you from anybody, I love that lady. And I know that's the only woman I think ever loved me like she did. And who'd want the rest when you had the best?
That's right. Well, it's a good testament to her. Where are you living now? At the Garden Plaza? Where'd you say?
That's the name of it, Garden Plaza.
Where is that?
That's right down the street.
Oh.
Down there where they got the good restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
They got
Life
good
Cares.
restaurant in there, yeah.
3 stories or something?
Oh,
Did you know Grady Jones? Did you ever know Grady Jones?
Yeah, I knew Grady Jones. He used to live there.
Yeah, he lived there. I went and
Yeah.
saw him. He got caught on the
His
electric.
man.
His insurance man.
Yeah, I knew.
You know,
Grady was a pretty good guy.
I liked Grady. You know, I went up there one day and he was upstairs and he had the extension cord caught in his wheel of his car, of his little scooter, and then they took his scooter away because he drove it to Shoney's.
That's that Grady
That's
Jones.
Grady Jones.
That's Grady. That's just him. He's a character.
He was a character. He was 92, I think, 93,
Yeah.
something like that. But what do you do there of it? You eat there 3 times a day? Do you go to the restaurant?
I eat breakfast there and eat what they call dinner. I call it supper, but they call it dinner.
What do they have?
Anything, breakfast is the best they are in town.
Is there a crowd there?
Oh, I'd say there's probably 20, 25.
Do you know them?
I know every one of them.
Do you speak, or is it?
I have 2 of the ladies sitting with me.
Who are they?
Betty Goodner, she's worked at Hampton National Bank for 42 years. And Gertrude Smith, she come from Florida Line up here. She talks all the time, so, but I...
Give you a break.
Yeah.
Does like of an evening, do you sit in your room and watch TV, or do you go downstairs in the...
I mess around all that place. But I'm not, last day or 2, I had a little problem. But I'm going to the doctor in the morning and see what it is. I've been walking, getting short breath.
Have you had COVID or anything?
No, I've been vaccinated twice.
I have too. I got 2 shots.
Yeah, I have too.
Don't hurt, does it?
No, didn't bother me.
What about back to hauling rock?
I enjoyed it and I made a good living. I better worked hard too.
Did you ever, what were some of the bigger jobs you were on?
Well, I hauled up at the copper company through around by the lake. I hauled up there for 14 years, a load every morning. First thing.
Where's that at?
Up copper company in Copper Hill. Haul load up there, then I'd come back haul local, like you builders. Hauled every builder in Bradley County.
So you'd go up there to Copper Hill and take on how many loads?
Sometimes I'd haul all day up there, and then sometimes it's one load. But most time I'd haul one early in the morning, then see what they wanted.
Like what time?
Well, I have left as early as 3 o'clock in the morning, but most time I left at 7.
Now, so how did you communicate? Through two-way radio?
On the phone, yeah. Call the quarry.
Because they didn't have cell phones then, right?
No, I didn't have one of these just a few years ago.
So they would radio in and say, we need you.
Well, they'd call on regular telephone to the quarry.
But then the quarry would dispatch to you, or what?
Yeah, they'd dispatch me, yeah.
Did they, was that about the time they were doing Chilhowie?
The what?
Chilhowie, or up the McCamey Lake?
Well, I had a truck that hauled up there, but I didn't haul up there too much, but I had a truck that hauled up there regular.
So you just got one of the guys that worked for you?
Yeah, I hauled up there.
What makes you feel good?
Doing something good for somebody.
Like what?
Anything that helped them.
Like coming here and talking to me?
Well,
I've appreciated it.
You know what I'm thinking about right now?
Supper?
No. I've done eaten enough. My granddaughter took me to Longhorn today.
For lunch?
Yeah.
Is that where they throw the peanuts on the floor, or is that
no,
that other one?
That's down.
I get them confused.
No, you know what I'm thinking about right now?
What?
Getting home, getting my roller, and going up the second floor, and laying back in my chair, and just gradually going to sleep. Then getting up in the morning and being down there at 6:30 to eat breakfast.
What time does breakfast ready?
Breakfast ready at 7 o'clock, but I get down at 6:30.
Start drinking coffee?
Yeah.
Are the two ladies there now?
Well, there's always some ladies there to talk to you. I don't talk to men very much. They're made different.
Yeah. Well, you know, just having conversations is real good, isn't it? It's inspiring, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You don't have to agree. You don't have to just
just
talk.
About you, do you think I don't know?
Tell me one.
You've got a whole lot of rent property.
I've got some rent property.
You've got a lady that I happen to, I've seen her before. It kind of helps you and keeps up with it. And you've been a hustler in your life.
I've worked my butt off.
You've been a hustler.
I appreciate it.
But you've not been lazy.
No.
And as far as financially, you've been pretty smart.
I don't spend any money.
You know, some good investing.
I don't spend much money.
You bought the old man Burger's house here, and he's a barber. This is gonna be a good piece of property.
It eventually. You know, I don't know. At night, I can hear, when I'm here of an evening, I can hear somebody walking down the hall. I don't know if it's him or what.
Well, I'll tell you what you better start doing, keeping somebody here to talk to. So you're liable to go to wash the bed for long.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you still go to church regular, or do they?
No.
You can't.
My granddaughter took me this morning.
To church or just to lunch?
To church.
How old is she?
She's, what, 28?
That's nice of her, isn't it?
I've got two granddaughters. They're twins.
Twins. They're born at the same time?
Oh, no, one of them about, what, 3 or 4 minutes difference, aren't they?
They look alike?
Yes, they do.
Real, like identical twins?
And let me tell you, these two went to Romania and got them.
Mm.
And me and my wife kept them.
That's another thing, isn't it?
And helped raise them. You know what? That was the happiest time I ever had in my whole life. Counting all of them, it was the happiest time I ever had. I didn't get changed when she's got a sister, redheaded sister, that's a nurse up at Fannin County Hospital. When these kids was born and raised up, I didn't have time to really play with them. I missed that.
Was everybody like that, or was that just you?
Well, I guess I don't know about the rest. I'm gonna tell you my story. But anyway, I didn't have time to play with them like I wanted to, so I adopted these girls, and me and my wife kept them, and I got there and played with them every day. I owned a lot next door to me at that time, and we got them electric Jeeps, and that had a lot of places like that in. We got there and played in them Jeeps. Boy, did I have a time. I'd cook them breakfast too. And
At that Garden Plaza, what they have, you tell them what you want. They come over like
they got a list that you can go by.
Like a menu.
Yeah, menu, and you mark down on what you want.
You give it to them.
Yeah, give it to them. Leave them at the desk. I leave mine at the desk. Most of them takes them in the rest. I leave mine at the desk.
You mean when you go in?
Yeah, I fill it out every morning.
Because you don't fill it out the night before.
No, I wait the next morning.
Because you don't know what you're going.
Change the menu pretty often.
You ever say pancakes?
Yeah, every morning I get 2 pancakes, 1 scrambled egg, 3 pieces of bacon, 2 pieces of sausage.
Now that bacon and sausage will kill you.
I eat every bit of it.
You drink Cokes?
Coke?
Yeah.
Very seldom. I drink coffee.
You drink Coke once a week?
About one a week.
Sweet tea?
No, I don't drink sweet tea.
When you go down there, did you go and eat?
Let me tell you about this beer drinking now.
Mm-hmm.
My wife told me when we first got married, she said, 2 things I won't put up with. She said, you run around on me and drink, and her dad was a drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I'll cut your throat when you go to bed if you do that on me. But then anyway, that wasn't exactly what I was going to tell you, but that part of it. Had some boys come to my house back before I married her, and we went over to the armory that night. They had a party over there, so I went over there and come back about half drunk. So my dad, they carried me in the house, but I knew what was going on. He said, I want to see you in the morning. So he pulled me out of bed at 3 o'clock next morning with this T-shirt. He didn't have a hickory. He had a pole about that big. He wore it out on me. And guess what happened then?
Quit drinking?
I ain't drunk no more since then. I couldn't hardly tell you what a beer tastes like now.
Well, it's caused a lot of problems for people, hasn't it? Alcohol.
It didn't cause none of me after that. My dad, if he told you something, that's the way it was going to be.
Is that the way most people were then?
Yeah, most people, if they told you something, they lived up to it.
Did they have a chance to change their mind? Could they change their mind?
Well, none of my people ever did. The other people may have. My people didn't.
I always wonder if you tell somebody something but you change your mind.
Well,
can you
yeah,
do
they
that?
told you something back in that day, they done it. Now her
I guess she's more.
grandma that lived with us for 27 years.
Uh-huh.
If she told you something, you count on it. That's the way it was.
Was that your wife's mother?
Yeah, she lived with us for 27 years.
Maybe people then were more careful of what they committed to.
Yeah.
Maybe, we say, yeah, I'll do that. But back then, they meant it.
They meant it, yeah.
Were people on time when they got somewhere, usually?
If a man owed you some money back then, he'd pay you. And after I went in the car business, when I left the car business, people owed me $48,000. Mm-hmm. I never did get not one penny. And why I didn't go collect, because I got a mean streak at times. I went over behind the best store one day. This man called me and said, "You're a white Thunderbird with the black vinyl tops over here." And said, "Man, I think it's going to leave." Well, I go over and knock on his trailer door. He pulled a shotgun on me. I said, "Okay." I said, "I'll see you." And so I went back and got my 245, 238, went back over and kicked his door in, got his shotgun, threw it up on top of the trailer, and I drove his car back home. He had it full of clothes, and I got his clothes too. So I decided after that, I told my wife, she said, "You quit the business right now." So you know what I done?
What?
I called Charlie Ferris of Spring Place Motors. I said, "I've got 46 cars on this lot. How much will you give me for them?" He told me. I said, "You bought them." And I walked home.
Was that a happy day?
Happy day right then. That's because I wasn't making much money there anyway.
What'd you do then?
Went to work at Bradley County Road Department and enjoyed every day.
Who was the road superintendent then?
Well, Ed Lewis, Ed Lewis.
I had him on here.
But now
I liked Ed. Doc, I'll say this.
I'm telling you things that's the way I feel.
That's all right. I tell you what, you have had a very interesting. You should be really proud of all the stuff that you've done.
I've had a good life.
And you've enjoyed every bit of it.
Most of it, yeah. I enjoyed it.
What do you attribute the good luck to?
I think maybe where I was raised at, maybe. We didn't have nothing. And then when we come out of the woods, I seemed like I just enjoyed everything. I enjoyed stock car racing, I think, more than anybody. I made a good stock car driver. I think I made an excellent stock car driver. Then I enjoyed the trucking business to start with because I made quite a bit of money to start with. And that's the name of the game or anything you do when you're working. I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed driving the truck. I used to, but I couldn't now, but I've done a lot of things I enjoyed. But most of all, that woman I married, she made me. And boy, have I missed her. If it hadn't been for my family, I would wound up in Austin Bend. And I know it too.
Boy, it's sad.
But now, if I asked her, I said, would you like to go to Pigeon Forge today or go somewhere? And she's always ready to go, you know. This other lady I dated, she died. She had we went to a lot of places and went on a lot of bus trips, one-day bus trips. And I finally got, now I like to take one-day bus trips.
Yeah. That way you don't have to stay gone long.
Yeah. Well, we about ready to go, Kathy?
Doc, it's been a real pleasure.
Well,
you have had a life well lived,
and this man,
you're a heck of a guy.
He works for you?
No, he's Gwen Schroyer. I always get the best.
Good guy.
Good guy.